The General Hospital recap features Valentin Cassadine nearing death thanks to his father, so he conjures up visions of his mother in his head. In this episode, Valentin's body quickly deteriorated as the pathogen did damage, but at least he had a ghostly visitor. Elsewhere, Laura and Drew managed to get into Victor's lab, but were quickly caught. At least Spencer, Trina, and Curtis managed a more successful rescue on the Haunted Star. In Port Charles, Robert and Felicia tried to run interference with the WSB. Finally, Willow was rushed to the hospital as Nina worried Drew would never bring any bone marrow back in time. Valentin's, James Patrick Stewart, condition worsened as Victor, Charles Shaughnessy, and Liesl, Kathleen Gaddy, looked on. Victor taunted his son and promised he would find his accomplices, and begged Valentin to come clean. If he just told Victor who he was with, he'd have Liesl deliver the experimental antidote. Liesl begged Victor to allow her to test the antidote on Valentin right away, but Victor wanted to wait to see if the drug would work later in the course of this mysterious virus. Finally, Victor mentioned a papaless Charlotte to try to get Valentin to give up the goods, and it almost worked until Valentin tried to speak, and all he could talk about was how he was burning. Victor dragged Liesl away and left Valentin alone to hallucinate Helena. He begged hallucination Helena to help him, but dear old mom just wanted to taunt him. It turned out she was there to take him to hell. Disguised as a guard, Drew, Cameron Matheson, brought Laura, Jenny Francis, into Victor's bunker and told another guard that she was a prisoner, but they got into a brawl anyway. Once the guard was knocked out, Laura made her way into Liesl's lab. Drew soon followed, and they found the caboodle-like container with the pathogen, but didn't get to find out what was in there because Victor, Liesl, and the guards appeared. Victor was delighted to see them, especially Drew. When Drew lunged at him, Laura used the distraction to grab the vial with the pathogen out of the caboodle, not knowing what it really is. Laura soon found out when Victor told her his plan and then showed them a live cam of Valentin near death. A smug Laura asked Victor if he was sure his plan would work as she showed him she had the pathogen in her hands. Cutis, Donald Turner, managed to knock some goons out during his Haunted Star dining room brawl, but Trina, Tabiana Ali, was a wreck when Spencer, Nicholas Alexander Chavez, refused to wake. She refused to leave Spencer behind when Curtis wanted to hightail it out of there. Finally, Spencer woke and stood, so they ran from the dining room and did their best to find Big Baby Ace. Amazingly, they got to the room with no problem and told the nanny to step out of the way so Spencer could just grab his brother and walk off with him. Spencer and Trina were stunned when Curtis told them to take Ace to the plane on the other side of the island, but he was staying behind to help Valentin, Drew, and Laura. Back in Port Charles, Felicia, Christina Wagner, was stunned when she learned that Victor has a bioweapon and tried to reach Robert, Tristan Rogers, but he already knew and was dealing with the WSB agent that Scott summoned to the hospital. Robert did his best to talk the agent out of letting the WSB know what is really going on with Victor. When Robert realized Felicia was outside the room, he yelled for her to call Frisco, Jack Wagner, and explain what was going on and talk him out of bombing the island. That just prompted the WSB agent to put tape right over Robert's mouth. Finally, Felicia made her way into the room and informed Robert that as soon as Frisco gave the order not to bomb Victor's island, the WSB replaced him before anyone could blink and was ready to destroy the area and kill everyone there. Michael, Chad Duell, frantically called 911 after Willow, Ketlin McMullen, passed out upon learning he wants to send his own father to jail. Brooke Lynn, Amanda Seton, and Tracy, Jane Elliott, arrived to help as Michael wondered if he killed his wife by telling her a secret she might not have needed to know just days before her impending death. BLQ and Granny assured Michael he didn't cause this and then offered to watch the kids so he could accompany the ambulance to the hospital. Once alone, Brooke Lynn and Tracy discussed what Tracy did for Chase and the review board, but Wiley interrupted. Brooke Lynn was surprised to see how great Tracy is with kids as she told him a story about the fourth little piggy. Elizabeth, Rebecca Herbst, was surprised to see TJ, Taj Bello, at the hospital when he should have been at Willow's death wedding. TJ relayed how happy Willow was but also how the SEC came to arrest Carly. The next thing they knew, Willow was wheeled in on a gurney. TJ promised Michael he would keep Willow alive. However, when TJ saw Willow's test results, his face looked grim. A sad Carly, Laura Wright, tried to drown her sorrows in pie at Kelly's, but when she went to pay, she learned her credit card had been declined. So, she tried another card, and it was also declined. Carly was surprised when Nina, Cynthia Watrous, showed up behind her and offered to pay. Carly was not about to do that and paid with cash. Nina attempted to be nice and asked about the wedding. Surprisingly, Carly even told her how beautiful it was. However, being nice didn't last long as she let Nina know how terrible her other dead daughter Nell was. Carly then told Nina all about the SEC problems and how the SEC is now after Drew and might get to him before they find the bone marrow, Liesel. After Carly left, Nina and Ava, Maura West, sat down to chat, and Nina spilled all about what happened with the SEC. Ava was particularly amused to learn that Carly's assets had been frozen. She even wanted to celebrate with champagne. Not so fast. Nina continued to freak out that the SEC might find Drew in Greenland before he could get to Liesel, and if that happened, it could end Willow's sad life. Perhaps there is other family out there who could be tested. That was a pleasant surprise to see Andrew Maddox walk through Anna's General Hospital door recently. He even got to interact with his ex-girlfriend, the very single Jordan, while he was there, and it got us thinking. It time for him to move back to Port Charles. Anthony Montgomery had a passing flirtation with Anna, Finola Hughes, who is currently very much attached to Valentin, James Patrick Stewart. Of course, thanks to his father, Valentin may not be attached to this earthly plane much longer. Is it time for Andrew to move back? Find out what fans had to say about that. For 10% of you, these quick visits are working out just fine. You enjoy seeing Andrew pop up from time to time to help move things along with whatever caper Anna and Valentin are working on, but she's definitely taken, so there's nothing to see here for the good doc on a long-term basis. Not so fast, claim another 24% of the audience. This show is about a hospital, and surely a doctor can always come in handy. And he has spy tendencies to boot. What could be better? You say yes. It's about time that Andrew moves back to Port Charles and joins the General Hospital staff again. The town needs him. A whopping 66% are all in on Andrew's return because there is one person in particular who needs him back in town, and that's all work and no play. Jordan, Tanisha Harper. You saw that those sparks are still there between them, and you're tired of seeing this gorgeous lady all alone. Frankly, the fact that she is still single is the biggest crime happening in Port Charles. Come back, Andrew, and fix that. STAT.